Welcome to this explainer. Whether you're a seasoned executive or you're just stepping into your very first management role, true authority doesn't actually come from your title. It comes from your vocabulary. So today, we're decoding the ultimate guide to finding the exact right words, no matter what situation you find yourself in.
Picture this, you're at a high-stakes meeting. Have you ever felt that sudden, sinking panic of being caught completely off guard? All eyes shift to you, you're expected to take charge, and your mind just goes totally blank. Well, it's a universal frustration, right? Knowing you're completely capable, but just lacking that perfect, nuanced response in the heat of the moment. Psychologically, this freeze response happens because our brain perceives high-stakes social pressure as a literal threat, and it just shuts down our higher-level verbal processing. But what if you could bypass that entirely?
The antidote to that panic is Patrick Alain's The Leader Phrasebook. And I have to say, this is far more than just a collection of nice quotes. It's a tactical linguistic arsenal. With over 3,000 powerful phrases, it functions as a literal cheat sheet for building a trustworthy, convincing leadership presence completely on demand. It basically reprograms how you respond under pressure, giving your brain immediate, preloaded scripts to maintain your authority.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Fumbling for the right words. 2. The leadership communication framework. 3. Navigating everyday conversations. 4. Diffusing conflict and complexity. And 5. Advanced and Machiavellian tactics.
Let's dive right into part 1, fumbling for the right words.
So, unpredictable situations are definitely the ultimate test for leaders, because regardless of your official title, you're constantly expected to settle the score, influence the outcome, and just make things better right on the spot. And the higher you move up the chain of command, the faster you need to summon effective language. The goal here isn't just to stop fumbling, it's to internalize phrases that motivate and command until they become absolute second nature. True leadership presence is built in these tiny micro moments of communication. When you hesitate, you kind of leak authority. But when you respond instantly and accurately, you cement trust and project an unshakable, convincing leadership presence that people just naturally want to follow.
Moving on to Section 2, the Leadership Communication Framework.
To make thousands of phrases actually usable in the real world, Alain organizes them using this brilliant, intuitive mechanism. The book operates on a sliding scale continuum. Think of it as a visual gauge to determine if a phrase is going to build a bridge or just cut straight to the chase. Over on the one side, you have conciliatory, polite phrasing to smooth things over. On the other side, you strip away the niceties for direct, even blunt argumentation. Psychologically speaking, this allows you to rapidly match your verbal intensity to the stakes of the situation, ensuring you never overreact, but you also never under-respond.
Let's look at how this scale actually works in practice when you're just asking for clarification. At the highly polite end, you might gently say something like, "I'm probably being dense, but could you say more on this?" This totally disarms the listener by taking the burden of confusion entirely upon yourself. But dial that exact same scenario down to the blunt end, and you get, "What the heck?" You see, you're incrementally adjusting your tone based purely on what the environment demands, which keeps you in complete control over the conversation's temperature.
Mastering this, though, isn't about rote memorization. It's a three-step process. Step 1, familiarize yourself with the phrases that match your natural voice. Step 2, practice them until they flow without any hesitation whatsoever. And Step 3, let context be your ultimate guide. The exact same words completely change their meaning, depending on your tone, your timing, and of course, your body language. It's all about matching the linguistic tool right to the interpersonal moment.
Which brings us to a really crucial warning from the author. He notes that a humorous phrase could easily be construed as hostile, depending entirely on the delivery. So this isn't a script for robots. You absolutely must maintain your emotional intelligence and, above all else, read the room. If the tension is thick, a poorly timed joke, even a really clever one, will completely destroy your credibility instead of saving it.
All right, let's hit Section 3, navigating everyday conversations.
Let's pull some specific workplace-ready tactics directly from the text that you can use in your daily routine. When a meeting devolves into total confusion and the conversation feels hopelessly tangled, don't resort to frustration. Instead, warmly untangle the issue by saying, "Let me word that a bit differently," or "Let's try to make sense of this together." This steers the whole group back on track while keeping the environment highly collaborative. It signals that, hey, we're all on the same team, working to unravel a complex problem without assigning any blame.
Next up, Section 4, diffusing conflict and complexity.
This right here is the territory where true leaders prove their worth. handling clashes and managing people who frankly test your absolute patience. When tempers flare, your primary job is de-escalation. The book offers these brilliant, slightly humorous concessions to act as a pressure valve. If a trivial argument brews, simply say, "Let's just chalk it up to semantics," or even joke that it's just a case of the Mondays. This instantly removes the personal attack vector. It forces the room to take a collective breath and subconsciously signals that this dispute is just too small to derail your shared objectives.
You can also use specific phrases as psychological levers to manage the flow of information. If someone is just drowning the room in complexity, gently guide them back to the stripped-down version. Conversely, if they're oversimplifying things and missing crucial nuances, politely warn them that God is in the details, or maybe suggest a more sophisticated inquiry. This way, you pull the conversation exactly where it needs to go, acting as the real architect of the discussion rather than just another participant.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, Advanced and Machiavellian Tactics.
So now we step into the advanced and sometimes a bit ruthless side of communication. When you need to gather inside information or lock in absolute trust quickly, you need overt, firm phrasing. By slightly dropping your tone and leaning in with something like, "I am as silent as the grave," or "I give you my word, this won't go further than these walls," you signal to the other person that they are in a secure, impenetrable bubble with you. It creates this instant bond of secrecy that really encourages candor and cuts right through that guarded corporate polite speak.
But, these Machiavellian tactics aren't just about secrecy, they're actually about extreme efficiency. When you need to completely bypass the maze of workplace politics, use phrases like, "I just need you to help me connect the dots," or demand to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. It just cuts right through all the noise and delivers the raw facts you need to make critical decisions, all without waiting for those heavily filtered reports.
So we've seen how a single, carefully chosen phrase can build a bridge, defuse a bomb, or extract a hidden truth. You now have a glimpse into this incredible linguistic toolkit. The only question left for you is, how will you change your words today so you can command your outcomes tomorrow? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely dive into the source material to start building your own ultimate leadership vocabulary.